What's up, everybody? I'm Samantha Nahera, and this is another episode of the Bean and Chisme Show, where we celebrate all things comedy, culture, and community. Welcome to the show. We are live here in San Antonio, Texas at Credit Human down at the Pearl. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We have a big old show lined up for you guys tonight. And if you haven't joined us before, thank you so much. Please share this live stream. My microphone is moving away from my mouth. Please share this live stream right now. We have a couple of giveaways, and of course, we have amazing guests. And we talk all things cultura, really, about Hispanics, anything that has to do with being funny or comedy, culture, music. We do it all here. And we are honorary chismosas of the world. So that's what we do here at Bean and Chisme. Thank you again for tuning in. Right now, I'm going to introduce our very first guest of the evening. But before we do that, I have to get to the sponsors, because without our sponsors, we do not have a show. Our very first sponsor is the building that we're in right now. Credit Human is a credit union based out of San Antonio, Texas, and they help all kinds of people from all walks of life with our finances. And so we thank them so much. If you guys have never come into a credit union before, this is definitely community-based financial health care. So definitely look into Credit Human, and of course, we will leave the link in the comments. Our second sponsor is AC Cruz Air and Heating. They service all of San Antonio, Austin, and Corpus. And you guys, it is hotter than a mofo these days. You know this, right? So make sure to save his info. And of course, we're going to interview him next. And we have Latin Grammy winner, El Zurdo himself, Michael Salgado, in the house. That's right. You heard it correctly. He's also our special guest, so stay tuned. And I wanted to say a quick shout out to EcoPacks. EcoPacks is a packaging company out of Cali. Shout out to my friend Fahad. Look at this awesome packaging, you guys. I'm going to give one of these away. We call them Manguera water holders, but Manguera is the water hose from the yard. This is a tumbler from Bean and Chisme, but they sent us brand new packaging. It's eco-friendly, custom designed. And if you're a small business owner like myself and you have merchandise, this is the company you want to use. So shout out to EcoPacks as well. And yeah, let's get the party started. So introducing our first guest, Miss Roxane Pina from Credit Human. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sam. I'm honored to be here.
So Roxane is the administrative manager from the Financial Health Center Division of Credit Human.
I am.
Did I get that right?
You did. I am, and I'm proud to be part of such an amazing team.
So, speaking of being a part of a team, congratulations on almost 40 years.
40, yes. This will be my 40th year with Credit Human.
Wow.
So excited.
I can't even keep a job for 40 days or 40 months. 40 years. That takes a lot of commitment and dedication. What do you think the special sauce is for sticking with a company for 40 years?
Man, honestly, a lot of people say it's family, but this truly is. This is my work family. And we know that, right? At work, we're here more hours of the day than we are at home. I love the people that I work with. I love what I do. But the most important part of our job, of our roles, is that we truly give back to the community. We are a part of the community. Wherever our locations are, we get involved. Our members become like family. And we probably know more about them and what they do or don't do than their family does.
I hear that you get the real chisme inside the bank.
Oh, yeah.
Because you've got husbands, wives, sisters, daughters, cousins, all with their own finances, right? And they all have individual accounts. They all got stuff going in and out. So you've heard it all.
All of it and more.
Tell me one of the juiciest stories of bankers that you have heard. Was it like a sunshine that came in and wiped out a bank account?
Well, I will not share those stories to protect the innocent and the guilty, but but I will share a very memorable story with you. So one of the locations that I had the pleasure to work at in our medical center area, we had a member coming in one day, and he was a little bit scared, kind of looking over his shoulder. And we're like, Mr. Member, what's going on? What's going on? And he's looking around, and he's like, is my daughter here? Because family, right? Moms, dads, brothers, sisters, everybody has an account with Credit Human. We're like, no, we haven't seen her today. What's going on? And we kind of noticed he had a little green tint to him. What? So we asked him, what's going on? What happened? Is everything okay? And he's like, well, we're not supposed to be watering the grass right now. We're like, yeah. And I'm trying to save some money because that's what y'all are teaching me, to save some money. Like, yes. So I love my yard. We're like, okay, where are we going with this? Well, he bought some spray paint to spray paint his grass green so that he wouldn't water it, so that he could save money but still keep his beautiful lawn.
Wow.
And he was afraid that his daughter was going to come in and he would get in trouble. He came to us. He came to us for some help, had nothing to do with his account.
So he trusted you with the
Yes.
situation he was in?
Yes, nothing to do with his finances. He just, like, I trust y'all. I need some help. What should I do? So we made a couple of calls. And the solution was just some good old-fashioned soap and water. And so that's what he did.
And y'all washed him off?
No, girl, we didn't do that.
So how did you help him?
We told him, go home,
do this
go
soap and water.
home. You know, we'll keep it on. We'll keep it quiet, hush hush if we see her. And so then every time he came in, we kind of called him Mr. Green Jeans because he had that little green tint. But
yeah, there's no wrath like the wrath of a Mexican daughter.
That is
It's
true.
Like, we are on that.
that is true. He was not scared of the
was scared.
wife. He was scared of the mija.
And you guys were there. That is so awesome. And I think, we discussed this briefly, but you were with Credit Human before it was San Antonio
Yes.
Credit Union. What was it before San Antonio Credit Union again?
It was GECU,
What was that?
Government Employees Credit Union.
Dang, I want to know how many
Yeah.
people in San Antonio remember that. If you
Oh, they
remember
do.
that,
They
hit a
do.
like.
Mhm.
That's crazy. So you've
Yeah.
seen the brand, the growth of all of the branches. Because, we are in a state-of-the-art 12-story building over at the Pearl, downtown San Antonio. This is one of the most incredible buildings, and it's eco-friendly as well. Like, you've seen from the branch on the south side where you
Yes.
started, right? And so now
Yes.
you're at the corporate building that's brand new. Like, how does that feel?
It's amazing. It truly is. So yes, I had the honor of working at the Southside branch for many years. I actually was a manager there. And as we started to transform to the Financial Health Center division, we always kept in mind that we were doing that to be good stewards, not only of our members' money, but also of our community and our environment. And it was a challenge. It's tough, right? Going from the brick and mortar, the traditional teller line, to having our members on board with us and be partners in our new Financial Health Center model. But they trust us, back to that word, trust. They trust us that we're moving not only forward in as far as technology, but being very mindful of how we spend their money so that we can in turn provide better products and services for them to help them continue building their financial slack.
See, and let's see, we use the word slack here at Credit Human.
We do.
Slack is another word for savings, but that's the cushion in your budget where you have money left over, or you can make investments with it, things like that. And so that's why, just a reminder of you guys here at Bean and Chisme Show, we have a partnership with Credit Human to educate our Latino population on financial literacy. And one of the things that I grew up with, and still today, my abuela still hides the money underneath the mattress. And we don't trust. Like, I find money in pockets and jackets.
Yes.
My dad is synonymous for that. So I appreciate that you guys take the time to go to a financial health center.
Yes.
They have these centers around town, and you can walk in and talk to somebody. So tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So we have 18 locations here in San Antonio. And really, we don't want to restrict you on how you save or tell you don't do this or don't do that. We're all about let's sit down together and let's look over your spending. And not only will we help you spend, but we can teach you how to save while you spend. We have several products that are money free. You don't have to pay any service fees or charges. But we also have an amazing mobile app where you can buy gift cards for your restaurants or your vacations or places that you shop. You buy a gift card, save some money, and you can still do the shopping and spending that you want. It's your money. You work hard for it.
Yeah.
But we want to teach you just how to be a little bit more conscious in saving and, again, how to save money while you spend it.
I like that because you can't tell me no. But you
Right.
can tell me not right now, or this is what it looks like.
Exactly.
You can buy your nails, your hair, because for me it's the lashes, the hair, like
All
I
of the
need my
things.
tacones, I need all my things. But it's like you can have all that, but you can have it in this order, just
Yes.
not right now. Okay, cool. So what other services, and just to remind our audience again, what other products does the Credit Human offer?
You will find our savings, checking, certificates, retirement accounts, everything that any other financial institution will offer. What makes Credit Human unique are the people that work for Credit Human. We are truly invested in our community. Every location has a special niche with the community. Like, for example, our Southside locations.
Okay.
So Southside location, we are big supporters of the Frontier Bowl. So that's kind of a, if you know, you know.
Okay, but tell the ones who don't know.
Yeah,
the
so if
Frontier
you don't
Bowl.
know, Frontier Bowl is the Hardendale Indians and the McCullum Cowboys.
Okay.
And so we participate in our community by wearing and sporting those colors and supporting the high school. Because, you know, San Antonio's all about what high school did you go to.
And where did you go
Right?
to high high school?
I went to St. Gerard.
Wow.
So I am
Private
a Southside girl.
school.
Yes.
Mira,
Yeah.
I heard what they say about them private school girls.
Well, so that's going to be the After 8 show.
Bean and Chisme after dark.
After
Stay
dark.
tuned.
But you know, in all sincerity, you know, yes. But I helped my mom clean houses after working her full-time job to pay for that tuition. So even kind of those things were building slack, and we didn't know it, right? And so being part of the community, like we get it. On Friday night when it's payday, we want to go to Bud Jones, we want to go to Don Pedro's, right?
That's when you know it was payday. It was
and
Don
that's
Pedro's.
huge.
For me, it was Shoney's.
See, there you go.
Like we were rolling in the dough. We got to go to Shoney's.
That's fancy,
or
right? Luby's.
Luby's was fancy back then.
Yes.
Luby's is still fancy. It's expensive for that fried fish and that white roll.
If you're a member of Credit Human, we'll show you how to save some money, build some slack to go to Luby's on Friday. Get the big fish, not the Luann. You can get the big fish, girl.
What? No more Luann. That's hilarious. No, but I love that because you know we all grew up, you know, all walks of life, but especially here in San Antonio, where we're talking about when you used to have to go to your abuelita's cabinet with the pantry. I know how to say it in English.
Yes.
The pantry.
In between those paydays, you know, our grocery shopping was at my grandma's house. Because she had the good stuff, right? She had Tang, that instant breakfast juice. She had the little cookies with the little coconut on top. She had the frozen pizzas, like all the fun stuff that that for us, we just couldn't do that at that time, you know, in our family. We didn't talk about money. That was taboo. And so we had to be resourceful, right?
Right.
Like I said, we helped my brother and I helped my mom clean offices after working her full-time job and after going to school and working our own part-time jobs. And it wasn't anything different for us. That was what we did to sustain the family.
That's so amazing how far you've come, and congratulations on all of your success.
Thank you.
I was thinking also when I grew up, going into a bank, it was very formal. Like you couldn't wear chanclas and your hair in a chongo all tirada. Like it felt so like, wow, am I allowed to be in here?
Yes.
And of course my mom was like, cállate, like you couldn't talk, like don't even make a noise going into a bank.
Yeah.
And then of course I like that you guys have like these digital telehealth, what am I trying to say? ATMs.
Our ATMs, yes. Interactive teller machines.
So y'all, if you haven't tried one of these things out, let me tell you, it's just a computer screen, but somebody pops up digitally. The camera pops up. It's a real person. You just tap on the screen, talk to them, tell them what you need if you need to speak to a teller. But I remember when you had to roll through the drive-through and get the big old like tube. It was like this. It was like and you had to wait like 30 seconds. And put it back up and like, oh my gosh.
All the things.
We don't got to do that no more,
No,
girl.
you don't have to do that anymore.
Mira,
we're fancy now.
We're credit human.
That's it. And you can walk in. You can walk in with your chanclas. That's okay.
Yes, now
because
you can.
we meet you where you are.
I love that.
Yes.
So did you guys hear that? You can walk into any credit human in San Antonio, anywhere really, with your chanclas.
Chanclas, chongo, the whole bit.
You
Come
can
on
do
in.
it all. Awesome. Anything else you'd like to say to our audience about Credit Human and your tenure, your story? Girl, I bet you got stories for days.
Yeah, that's after 8 o'clock too. But but no, we truly are invested in our community, and we are very mindful of our products and services. We don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk. And we are very proud to be such a staple in San Antonio. And just continue growing, and we invite our membership in. If you're not a member, we invite you in and come see what the difference is and come see what all the talk's about.
So check out this view, by the way, really quickly. This is incredible. If you guys can't see this at home, we'll definitely send you some photos or something. But look, we're downtown San Antonio. You can see the entire skyline right here behind me, the Alamo Dome, and then we've got the Pearl right next to us. So this is incredible. And thank you guys so much at Credit Human for allowing a chismosa like me to be in the building they haven't kicked me out yet, you guys. They haven't kicked me out yet. No. But no, congratulations again on 40 years. I'm going to say 40, girl. I'm going to say almost 40. 40 years.
Don't ask me how old I am.
I'm not.
Figure it out. Do the math.
You still sexy, girl. You still sexy.
Hey, I'm old enough to know better, but young enough to do it anyway.
Me? Oh, okay. I'm going to quote that in the Credit Human handbook.
Go ahead.
I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Roxane.
You're welcome.
You guys check out Credit Human. We have a link in the comments. If you guys are interested in possibly opening up a check, or you just want to talk to somebody about your finances, I promise you they're not going to tell your secrets because they already know some of mine. And girl, It's okay. They already know what I spend my money on. And they're also helping me at the same time. Non-judgmental.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, you guys. Coming up next, we have AC Cruz here from AC Cruz Air and Heating. And here's a really quick commercial on his business.
We know that HVAC problems can be stressful, but with AC Cruz, they don't have to be. We're fast, we're friendly, and we're accurate. Hassle-free. Ready to feel the AC Cruz difference? Give us a call at AC Cruz Air and Heat. Let's go. Bow.
All right, you guys, we are back with AC Cruz from AC Cruz Air and Heating. Welcome to the show, AC.
Thanks for having me.
So you are the sponsor of tonight's show. Again, thank you so much for your support. So tell us a little bit about your business. I hear that you're running all over Texas, fixing ACs right now.
We do heating, we do air conditioning. We also do a subcontract with other guys that do plumbing, electrical, and then contracting. So we pretty much do everything.
Everything?
Yeah.
Do people need heat right now in the summer, though?
Some
They
people
need
do.
everything?
Some people do. No, I'm just messing with you. It's more of the cooling side that everybody needs in the summer. It's already hitting 100 degrees, so everybody's asking for cooling. Ain't nobody asking for heating right now. But we do Corpus Christi, we do Austin, Leander, San Antonio, and all the surrounding areas.
So how long have you been in business?
My business started when COVID had hit. I was working with a company called Brand Engineering with the local, and we used to do big buildings like this. I think they actually did this building. Well, we did. But the thing is that when COVID, everything shut down, so everybody was at home. So when everybody was at home, everybody wanted to have cooling inside their house because, normal 9 to 5 people, they're not at home during the day.
Right.
They just go after 5 o'clock, and they started seeing that their homes weren't cooling. So little by little, everybody started calling me, and I just started picking up calls, and that's when AC Cruz started with the residential. Now I'm doing a lot of commercial also.
That's
so you would say
awesome.
probably since 2020.
Yeah. So you're going on 5 years. Owning a business is no easy task. So what makes you guys different?
So the thing about us is we're like, a lot of these companies, they put everything on a laptop and then they go down and they tap things and then they say, this is the regular price. We don't do that. No matter how big the house is or how small the house is, we keep it personable with the customer. No matter who you are, we're always going to treat you the same. We treat you like family. But the thing is that wherever we start, we finish.
Okay.
So if we need to do plumbing, I got my guys that come in and do plumbing. If we need to do the framing and stuff, something goes out. Of course, we all pull permits and all that stuff. So we're all licensed and bonded. So that's good. That's a good thing about us. We don't have to call anybody else. We're just a one-stop shop. But we have our biggest thing is trust and then due diligence and caring for the customer. So it's like we keep you as family.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that because, there's a lot of, and no offense to the mom and pops, but there's a lot of shady businesses out there. Oh, yeah. You know what? And this is the thing. I am sick and tired of being like, hey, I got a primo who can fix your stuff. And I'm like, I don't want your primo in my house.
Yeah, the primo never shows up.
The primo that or he left all his tools. He's like, hey, I'll be right back. And they never come back because it's almost like they don't know what they're doing. Or I don't know.
Sometimes it's if they're not going to make enough money, they just don't show up or they just leave.
Or they leave. Yeah, I can't believe the shadiness. So
it happens.
And you guys, it is hotter than a hoochie coochie right now in Texas. So if you stop what you're doing right now and go follow AC Cruz Air and Heating, the link is going to be in the comments, but follow him on all of the platforms because he also is known for partnering with local influencers. You've partnered with Chona E and AJ Rivas.
Yeah.
We've seen some fun content, so check it out. You guys don't want to miss it, but we really want to support other businesses who support the content creators because you're thinking outside the box.
Yeah, because everybody watches comedy, and thing about it is people want to stay engaged, and they're not going to stay engaged with just a regular commercial. But if you're doing some comedy and you're making it fun and clean, a lot of people watch that.
Yes.
So that's why
he gets it.
I get it.
This guy gets it. So do you have any nightmare stories from?
Yeah, I have a lot of them, but I'm gonna keep it rated G since we're on the show.
I need some Chisme right now.
So I do a lot of fundraising stuff for the communities and stuff. And I had met this one guy, and he kept on coming to the booth and kept on asking me if I would help him. He says nobody will come to my house, and I said, all right, man. I said, I'll go out there and help you. So he called me in the morning, and every morning I got to go get my coffee, and I got to get a taco or something just to wake up my brain. So on the way over there, I knew something was wrong, but the guy that I had with me, he was a new apprentice that was working for me, and he was a big old guy. I'm talking about he looked like Debo, huge, big guy, and everybody would see him. He have like a mask on, black pants and stuff, and everybody was like, "Is he your bodyguard?" I said, "No, he's just an apprentice." So we went to the house. The customer, he ran outside, and when he ran outside, he said, "Don't go through the side of the fence. Come through my house." I said, "Okay, cool." So it's kind of weird. We go through the inside of his house. Well, it hadn't rained, and the whole backyard was like completely wet, but it smelled like a chemical. And I was like, something's wrong over here. I was like, dude, somebody's going to kill me or something over here. So when we get there, I get to the back. I start feeling like mosquitoes or something biting me. So I'm like, man, there's something wrong. And then I see the guy, he's like hitting his legs, like just tapping himself. And I'm like, what's going on here? So I get to the unit. And when I get to the unit, he's like, it doesn't work. And like you can feel him like he's like scratching himself all over. I said, man, this dude's starting to wig me out. So I didn't pay no attention, but something started biting me too. So I was like scratching, and then I looked down. My whole feet were full of fleas.
No.
I'm telling you.
No.
And this time I don't wear shorts, but my whole feet were full of fleas. And he was trying to tell me, can you get it going? And so the guy, I had the drill there. We're over there trying to go, and I said, hurry, dude, hurry. These fleas are eating me. So I told him, take the tool bag. My tool bag started getting black. This is how much fleas he had at his house.
No.
So what I ended up doing, I said, the hell with this unit. It doesn't work. I got to go. So my guy's gone. I'm like, where's my guy at? I'm like, dude, where's my guy at? The helper, the apprentice. I go over there. I close everything up. And when I close everything up, I'm running out there. And I was like, all right, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're going to need a unit. I'll give you a good deal, this, and that. But please kill the fleas. I go out there. And the guy, Debo, the one I'm telling you about, I'm trying to look for him. He is naked. I'm talking about he took all his clothes off. He had his underwears on. And he was running up and down the street. He runs to me. And he has kind of like a fro hair. So he's over there like scratching his hair and stuff. And I'm like, dude, you serious? All the fleas went into, because he has like cargo pants. They went to his boots. They were in our socks. First thing I did is I said, dude, jump in the truck. I threw all my stuff inside the back of the tailgate.
Yeah.
And the first place I said, you know what? I'm going to the dollar store. I went to the dollar store and bought 2 of those big things of alcohol and just drenched my whole body in alcohol.
With alcohol?
All over. We're outside in the front of the dollar store drenching ourselves with alcohol.
And they're like, what's happening?
And in the end, I was like, dude, I didn't even charge this dude to go over there to his house. I said, I ain't going back over there. He can have it for free. But that was just one of the craziest stories that we've had that for air conditioning. But I mean, it's simple stuff.
If you have piojos or pulgas, please warn the AC companies before.
No, they don't tell you. I was like, man, you got to put that on like, I guess you got to put like something on paper. You have piojos, pulgas or something.
Do you have that in a survey before you go over there? Like, do you have?
Can't discriminate. If they have piojos, pulgas, you still got to go.
Murero or not, we got to get in their house.
You got to get in there.
Dang, you probably see all kinds of craziness.
Oh, yeah. We'll be in a church one minute, and the next minute we'll be on top of a local bar with people drunk in the outside fighting. So, I mean, it's air conditioning. Everybody needs it.
And immediately.
Immediately.
Do you do service calls like round the clock too? Like,
oh,
hey,
yeah, we got guys
the
on
club
call.
is bumping right now and everybody's sweating.
We'll do it. I mean, if they call us, we'll do it. It doesn't matter. We used to work on the Pearl. We have a couple areas right here, like restaurants and stuff like that. But really in clubs, they really won't call you. But it's more like local bars and stuff that will call you.
And businesses,
yeah. A lot of businesses.
So, so you guys, he can do businesses. He can do residential as well. Is there anything you love? What do you love the most about it?
About air conditioning?
Yeah, about servicing people in your business.
It's just the gratitude in the end, you know. When I was a kid, my mom, she was a single parent. There was 6 of us. And I remember when like an air conditioning guy would come to the house, that was the biggest worry, you know, like how much is he going to charge us? And I see that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's my mom.
Yeah, I see that in a lot of people.
Don't call him because we don't know how much they're going to charge.
I see it in a lot of people. And my wife, she always says, you're the Mother Teresa of air conditioning. You go and work for 30 hours and you come home with $10. But you know what? As long as I know that there's kids in the house and they're nice and cool and everything's good, you know, that's just, I just get the gratitude out of it. I mean, it pays for it.
Yeah. And I appreciate that about you and your business, especially also for the elderly.
Yeah.
I feel like the elderly are forgotten sometimes, and
Yeah.
they're the ones that need the most help, especially when it gets really hot.
Yeah, and they're set on a fixed income, and $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. The way these people are charging people for air conditioning is crazy. So I mean, I'm national dealer, so I mean, I give people better price. I probably beat anybody's price with the license and everything like that. But I do it because I love it. There's some days where I'll come home and I'm just tired and exhausted, or have to go get an IV at the hospital because I'm overheated and stuff.
Don't do that.
It's all part of the business.
Damn. Okay, so you and I are gonna come up with a deal where I'm gonna go with you to work. Okay.
You want to be an apprentice?
I'm gonna be an apprentice for a day, you guys, with AC, and see if I can survive.
Well, I'll give you free lunch and free dinner if you stay long enough.
Say less. As long as I get tacos, you can get me to do a lot of things. So
Yeah.
hold the fleas.
Hold the fleas, yeah.
I can't. Do you even mention pulgas or anything like that?
No, I'm
like
telling
lice,
you.
I
I'm
start
telling
itching.
you. Nobody believes me on this story, but it is real. But the way the guy was just running out there was crazy.
So Michael, who's here, Michael Salgado, I think I have an idea. I want to make a jingle for you.
Oh, that'd be good.
Right?
I've been looking for a jingle.
AC, Cruz, air and heat.
There you go.
He's got all the prices you can't beat.
There you go.
He's a new Mother Teresa of AC. So I got flows. I got flows for days.
Yeah.
Are you ready, Michael? He's coming up next, you guys. Anything else you'd like to say? And of course, really quickly, you guys, I wanted to mention 50% off if you mention Bean and Chisme, a service fee. So if you guys call AC Cruz Air and Heat, of course, the link is in the comments. Mention Bean and Chisme, they're going to give you half off of the service fee. Is that right?
Yep, that is correct.
Awesome. Okay.
The chismosa and the chismoso promo.
Mention anything about Chisme to them. They're going to know what you're talking
There's
about.
good and there's bad, but it's all good chisme.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Chisme is good chisme. Oh, yes. Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about with the business? What you guys got going on? You guys growing?
I really don't like to have too many trucks out there, because too many trucks is just people scrambling. So I keep a good amount of techs where we can service you within the day. But I can't service everybody, because here in San Antonio it's a big city.
Yeah. It's
And
big.
then the trucks that go out there to Corpus and Austin, there's just not enough guys out here, and like the breed of HVAC is kind of like dying. We still have the guys that go out there and do the work, but ain't nobody trying to be in 150 degree attic. It's hard. So getting people to work for you is one of the hardest things. But I mean, if you're looking for a company that's going to give you an honest opinion and that's going to give you good service, you can look us up, look at our reviews and stuff. AC Cruz, we try. I lose more money making people happy than what I make. But at the end of the day, it's just I'm building a brand, and AC Cruz.
And it'll come tenfold
Yeah, it
for
comes
all the good
tenfold.
works you've done. That's amazing. And of course, you guys, the best way to find him is on his Facebook page, correct? And of course, that's here on Facebook. We'll leave it in the comments. And of course, if you guys are watching live on YouTube, we will leave the link there as well. So thank you so much, AC.
Thanks for having me.
It's an honor. And thank you so much for supporting Bean and Chisme. And we have a couple giveaways, you guys. So really quickly, moving on, I forgot a huge giveaway that we have with Credit Human. So if you want to bring it over here, Gabriel, mira. Look at this, you guys. All right, check this out. I love free stuff. I love prizes, as you guys know. This is a San Antonio Spurs gift basket. There's a cooler in here, socks, Spurs beach towel, the Credit Human tumbler, and a basketball hat. This is all valued at $100. The Credit Human Spurs gift basket sweepstakes begins today, and it ends on Friday, June the 6th, in a week, about a week from now. Make sure to follow Credit Human on Facebook and Instagram. And if you don't already, go follow. And during this period, go like the Spurs gift basket. They've already made it as a contest. It's a post there on their Instagram and their Facebook. So tag your friends in the comments, and each comment counts as a separate entry. And one winner will be selected for this prize. Can I keep it too, Gabriel? Did you give me an extra? Please, because this is noise.
Nice.
And also, one lucky winner tonight is going to win the Bean and Chisme Manguera water holder. You guys, these are so exclusive, and this is brought to you from our friends over at EcoPacks. They're a packaging company out of Cali, but they can get you customized boxing just like this. And we're going to put some Manguera water holders in here for one lucky winner who tags EcoPacks. Go follow them on Instagram. Tell them, send them a DM saying Bean and Chisme sent me, and we'll select one winner at the end of next week, and we will send you one of these. We'll ship it right over to you. So make sure to look at your DMs. We send lots of prizes out, you guys, but y'all don't answer the damn DMs. Hurry up, get your prizes for free. All right? We're going to take a quick break, but check this video out from Latin Grammy winner and Tejano legend, Michael Salgado.
Por presumir, a mis amigos les conté que en el amor ninguna pena me aniquila, que pa' probarles de tus besos me olvidé y me bastaron unos tragos de tequila. Les platiqué que me encontré con otro amor y que en sus brazos fui dejando de quererte, que te aborrezco desde el día de tu traición y que en momentos que he deseado hasta tu muerte. Acá entre nos quiero que sepas la verdad. No te ha dejado de adorar. Ahí en mi triste soledad me han dado ganas de gritar, salir corriendo y preguntar qué es lo que ha sido de tu vida. Acá entre nos siempre te voy a recordar. Y hoy que a mi lado ya no estás, no queda más que confesar que ya no puedo soportar, que estoy odiando sin odiar, porque respiro por la herida. ¡Uy! Chiquita, cómo me duele. Acá entre nos quiero que sepas la verdad. No te ha dejado de adorar. Ahí en mi triste soledad me han dado ganas.
All right, you guys, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that video from, let me get it right, singer, songwriter, Grammy nominee, and two-time Latin Grammy winner, El Zurdo legend himself, Michael Salgado. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming to be with the Chismosa tonight.
Of course.
It's an honor to have you here. And so we wanted to obviously honor you for your 30 years in the music business. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How does it feel?
Well, it feels like it was just yesterday, but, so much time has passed, and it's been great. It's been a great ride, and we're still, staying busy, thank God. And so, I remember back in the day, I guess it was 94, 95, when we recorded the album Cruz de Madera.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so, but there was a few albums prior to that. It was probably between 89 and 93. We recorded a few. Back then it was like cassettes, right?
Oh,
so,
snap.
We're going back a little bit. But we started, and, on the positive side, we were really young back then. So we started, and recording all the material that we had at the time. For me, it was kind of, when I did my first CD, I thought, things were going to happen fast. And, you're young.
Oh, yeah, you think you're going to be a star right away,
yeah,
right?
right away. And even though we played a lot of years in bars, probably 8 years performing in bars every weekend, and we started going back further with my dad, he used to play the accordion, and so he started with a couple of uncles, his brothers, and we used to live in a little town west of here, is Rankin, Texas, because we were kind of in the farm life, right?
Okay.
So we grew up.
Rancho life?
Yeah, we were El Rancho, and we drove John Deere tractors, and, so we listened to Ramon Ayala, and we weren't listening to Ramon Ayala, we were listening to Merle Haggard or George Jones or George Strait. So we had a little bit of both worlds, and so I remember getting started. My dad, decided to make a band, and so my uncle started, and my dad was on the accordion at the time. And me and him used to always sing at home, como así con la familia. And I used to sing to mis abuelos. And actually, I recorded a song on an album that's going to come out this year that I used to sing to them when I was like 8 years old, 9 years old. And I finally recorded it, 30, 35 years later. But,
What?
yeah. And so it's going to be on this new CD that's going to come out hopefully this year. And so, we started, with family and my dad. We decided to make a band, and then we started playing. There was like a little home, like a train depot restaurant in Rankin. And that's where
Rankin, Texas.
Yeah, that's where we started.
How old were you?
I was probably, 13, 14 years old.
So you've been in the cantinas and
a long time.
The holes in the walls
Yeah,
since you were 13.
Yeah, we've seen it all, and a lot of different things that have happened, throughout the years. And so, but when we started there, I remember I used to drive tractor, being at home and work in the field, and so I would learn country songs, while I was on the tractor. And so people would come in there. We do Spanish songs, and then a couple of guys would be like, "Hey, you guys know any country?" And so I was like, "Well, yeah, I know, a little bit of." Back then, I would learn stuff like from Ricky Skaggs and these different, artists back, traditional stuff. So, they'd give us, $5-10 to do a song, and so I would, do it. And that's kind of where we got started. And then we grew up more like in the West Texas area, like Midland, Odessa.
Okay.
So we started playing our first little bars in that area, and Big Spring, Texas, Lubbock, San Angelo, all those areas,
All
right?
those towns, yeah.
West Texas. And as the years went by, I think from going, I started on the bass actually, and then after a while, I was always wanted to play accordion because one of my biggest inspirations, aside from my father, was Ramon Ayala, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, he's an accordion player, and so I'm like, well, I want to learn how to play accordion, And so I remember having the piano accordion there at home that my dad had, and I just started, picking it up and kind of learning some songs here and there. And I remember back in the day when I started, picking up some songs, my uncles would say, hey, they didn't want to say it in front of my dad, but they would be like, hey, grab the accordion, man, because you know a few songs, and they were just different songs.
Encourage you to
my
do
dad,
it.
yeah, my dad did it more, as a hobby, and he played what he could, and he did great at doing that. But I would kind of learn the Ramon Ayala songs kind of the way they went, and so my uncles were kind of more excited about that. So eventually, my dad let me move into the accordion position.
Wow.
And
what was the band called?
it was called Conjunto Alegría back then, right? And after a while, it changed to Los Alegrías del Norte. And then I was probably 17, 18 when my dad kind of let me, take over the band. And at that time, we were still playing, 3 or 4 nights in the bars, every weekend. And at the same time, well, being younger, at that age, I was working construction as well. And so, when we were getting off work, they'd pick us up in the van with our little trailer, and then we'd take off on the weekend, and we'd come back. And I mean, the foreman was really gracious, right? Because we'd come back, we were tired, and he used to be a musician, so he kind of knew what it was like. So he'd let us get on a certain floor, in the building, and he'd let us take a nap, right? So that was always, we were really always grateful for him for doing that. And so, that's kind of the way we went through the years. We did our first, I guess it was 45 back then. It was a 45, right? We recorded our first 45 here in San Antonio. It was a label here in town, independent. And so, the the gentleman there that owned the label, he kind of saw something in the band, and so he said, well, we're going to record, a couple of albums back then, right?
Okay.
So we did a few albums between 91, 92 to 94. And, nothing really happened. So I was kind of discouraged,
Was
right?
this before Cruz de Madera?
Right, before
Okay.
Cruz de Madera. And so I remember it was the last year before we went to do Cruz de Madera. And I was like, well, if it doesn't happen this year, I'm going to maybe go another route, right?
Right.
So we recorded Cruz de Madera. I remember putting it together. And I always think a cousin of mine, his name is Jose Salgado, right? He's a songwriter as well. And I've done a few of his songs throughout the years. And he was the one that suggested the song, right? Because I heard it. I remember still we were in our, old van and we were coming from Lubbock. And I heard another great gentleman that I respect in the business, Ruben Ramos, right?
Okay.
He was playing already on the radio, and he had recorded Cruz de Madera, right? So I heard it, and I heard it, but I didn't pay much thought to it, and that went on. And my cousin was the one that said, hey, there's this song called Cruz de Madera. If you do it, I think if you do your style accordion, it'll work, right? And I said, well, we'll see. I said, I heard it, but, we'll take a chance with it and see what, So we started, I remember messing with the song on the way to play at a bar, right? I was in the van, and we were, una cruz de madera de la más corriente. And so we didn't really know this, but when we were playing the bars, we would play the song, right? And before, the hour was over, somebody'd come up, hey, Cruz de Madera, play it again. And we didn't really know that we kind of had a gem there, right? We're like, there's a song. We just knew we loved to play music. We didn't, I didn't have all the experience that I have now in the music business. But so then it was like, we didn't really know, hey, there's something here, right? And so we would play it a lot at this place. And after a while, I talked to the band and said, let's put some songs together. So Cruz de Madera was a part of that. I also had written a song, El Día que Te Fuiste, that's also a song that, people ask for nowadays, that's on that album. And we did Muñeco, which is also a pretty popular song that was written by my cousin Jose. And so there's several other songs on that record that we did. We put it together. I remember this venue in Big Spring let us practice in their venue, and we practiced all the songs. So we'd be ready when we came to San Antonio. So we recorded the album, and I was talking to the owner and said, we'd like to re-sign, because he had released us, and he's like, well, I'd like to re-sign with the company. He said, well, we'll see what happens, just if you can, just come in and pay for the record and this and that. So that's what I did, right? I paid for the record, Cruz de Madera. So we recorded it, and then I remember just going back, some weeks passed, and then they released the album. And then I got a call, and they said, we just want to let you know that the song's doing really well, and if you got a job, go ahead and quit, because we're going to have you come over here, and we're going to need you to go on the road and start.
What?
Yeah, so it was
no big deal.
Yeah, they were like,
Change your life right now.
Yeah.
You have a song called Cruz de Madera that's about to hit. But it's hitting.
Yeah, and for me, I guess, to be honest, I was kind of ready for something, right? So I was like, well, great, it's like the Beverly Hills Billies, right? You're going to take off and pack up and move out.
Let's go.
And so that's what I did. I mean, eventually, the first few times I came down with the label, but they had me on the road a lot and here a lot and work in the studio. So eventually I moved to San Antonio back in 95. So I've been here about 30 years. Now it's home for me, and so that's kind of when it got started. 95, Cruz de Madera. Actually, this year we're doing the 30th anniversary tour.
Wow,
and
30 years.
Yeah, it's been
Cruz
really
de Madera.
great. One of the shows I'm looking forward to is the Billy Bob show with my friend Louis the singer.
Yeah, I heard
there.
that's coming up this weekend, right?
A couple of weeks, and so we're going to be doing that show. But the one I'm also excited about, because I'm doing the show with him and Billy Bob's, and he's doing the show with me in Las Vegas. I got a show in Las Vegas. It's going to take place July the 12th for the 30th anniversary.
I'm going, right?
Yeah,
I'm going to be there.
Yeah,
I'm going to be in the tour bus
Of
with
course.
the team.
We're going to pack you
I'm
up
the
and-
accordion holder. That is my position.
Yeah, definitely. So, it's going to be, it's going to be some party out there. And
Puro party.
Louis is going to be out there as well. Louis, a singer. And, we've got a lot of fans that have been, buying tickets out there. You remember, you can get your tickets at Salgado.com, of course, on the website. And, it's going to be we've done Vegas before. This is the second time we're going to do it. And we're really excited because we started, promoting it beginning of the January this year. So it looks like it's going really great. And I think it's going to be good now that Louis is on the lineup. We also have another band that maybe they'll be signing under my label pretty soon.
Okay.
Grupo Asalto, that will be out there as well. And so we're doing a lot of different shows this year for the 30th anniversary. And, people ask me, well, how do you feel in 30 years?
Yeah.
And so it's just, it's surreal, and just being able to have done all these things in so many years. I've done so many things I can't remember. And I have a friend of mine who will talk
Remind
about,
you?
yeah, he'll tell me about things that I'm like, man, I don't remember doing that, and so, but it's been a great road. I mean, it's wonderful to be able to live your dream every day, and I know some people, it's hard for them to do that, right? And you work a job, and for me, this is not a job. It's what I do, I love to do it, and right now we actually have, like I was telling you about that new album that we're putting together. It's got a lot of
Does it have a name yet?
not yet,
No
not
name yet. Okay.
And so it's almost done. Actually, me and my brother going into the studio to finish it tomorrow, and then we send it off for mix and mastering, because I've just actually signed a new deal with ADA Latin, right?
I
for
heard
distribution.
new distribution
For my label,
deal.
yeah,
And what
so-
does that mean for the lay people like me that don't know what a distribution deal is? What does that mean?
They're going to be, putting out all my catalog, all my new music on all the platforms,
Okay.
like, you got
Spotify.
Spotify, iTunes, YouTube. So, right now, all the zurdo music, recently went down, but we've got still some of the other, the things I've done with Sony, with Freddie, some of the Joey Records music is up. So all my recordings from Zurdo Records will be up here pretty soon, right?
Okay.
Right now, they're still, we're kind of going through the procedure here as far as the steps you have to take, and finally we'll put up the catalog pretty soon. So really excited about that, being with AD Latin, and they're out of Florida, Miami, Florida.
Congratulations.
So thank you very much, you guys, for that. And so we're preparing this new record. It's got the new record's going to have a lot of older songs that people probably have heard throughout the years, but ahora al estilo Michael Salgado, right? So we're kind of bringing them back, because you always got it, the songs always evolve. And I mean, I remember hearing El Puño de Tierra with Ramon Ayala, right?
Yes.
And I'm like, man, that sounds great. I've never heard this song, but, it's an old song.
Right.
So I think that's the way it is with the younger generation now. They'll hear a song. And
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Man, that's great. But they've never heard it. So you always got to be, bringing the music back,
Yes.
especially great hits. And so that's what we've done on this record. I actually recorded a song, one of my favorites, that Ramon Ayala. I did. It's called Mi Primer Amor, right?
Okay.
And so that'll be on the record. And so actually we did it, me and my brother, kind of a cappella with accordion bajo sexto. And people loved it on social media. We got a lot of likes on it. So we're glad, and that's going to be on the new record. And the other project I'm going to be doing is going to be putting out a country album, right? And actually, yeah, so I'm excited about that, because I've done some country throughout these years. The first one
That's
was
right.
yeah, Honky Tonk Cantinas, right? Which
Yep.
I remember and this was when I recently had started my own label,
Oh, okay.
because I've been with Sony and Freddie and Joey. And so when I was with these labels, I always brought up, hey, I want to do country on an album. And they were never interested in the country part, right? So
They were probably like, you speak English?
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
people tell you that?
yeah,
You
some
speak
do.
English?
The younger generation would be like, I didn't know he knew English. And so, because it's crazy when we're at this show, then I just kind of transform, and I'm like, ¿Cómo está raza por ahí? Saludos, and so it changes. And so then when I go to country, then, I go back to English. But so kind of when we talked about doing the country album now, that there was a friend of mine, Rick Orozco, who,
yeah.
Rick.
Very
he's
good
a-
country singer.
Yeah, great guy. And we started talking when I started my label, Sort of the Record. I said, I want to do country, but I want to do it right. I want it done in Nashville.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
things like that. So he said, great. He said, I can get it done. And he pitched me a few songs, and I heard honky tonks. And so I started, honky tonks. And so I liked the vibe of the song, right? And so he did the track, Nashville, sent it back. And I was just like amazed, because the musicians out there are incredible.
Top notch.
And they do it, they're like, it's crazy how fast they record a song or an album even. So when he sent it to me, he said, well, I think we should add accordion to it. And for me, it was always like, well, I play accordion, but Michael Salgado in Spanish, right? So I didn't really want to incorporate accordion in
on
country,
the country
right?
song.
And I've been told that before. It's like, well, if you do accordion in country, I think you'll be onto something, right? And so I'm still thinking about that. But when we did Honky Tonks, he said, no, we're just going to add a little bit here and there. And after I heard it, I was like, well, it sounds great. I didn't picture it like that. And so the song came out. I was kind of nervous because you're talking prior to that, I was doing, 15 years of just accordion. And so I'm like, well, I don't know how the fans are going to.
And they don't know you speak English yet.
Right.
But it's in Spanish and English, or is it only in English?
Honky Tonks Cantina is only in English.
Okay,
right?
got it.
And so we've looked at some songs maybe to kind of add some Spanish, because I'm looking to do an EP country album of songs that I grew up with, and maybe some songs that the younger generation hasn't heard. But there's songs there's like this song that I used to sing when I was real young. It's from Oral Haggard that says, "Let's chase each other around the room tonight. Let's play the kind of games we played on our wedding night." Songs like that, right?
So if you're a Merle Haggard fan, you're gonna know.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
so,
I don't know. But.
Right. So you got that. You got some songs from Johnny Cash. I hear a train of coming around the bend.
I can totally hear you doing this.
Right. So these type of songs, I remember doing this song that I want to record, The Gambler, right? Mm-hmm. Kenny Rogers, almost everybody knows that song because it's just a sing-along song, right? So I remember we were in San Diego, California, and me and my wife were out there, and we went to this place and they had karaoke, right? And we're like,
oh,
and we're like, well, I'll try some country out here. Nobody knows me. So I remember doing the Gambler, right? And then I remember getting to the chorus part, and I was in, "You got to know when to hold 'em," and the crowd started singing along, right? So it was kind of interesting. So that's one song I've always wanted to do. So there's going to be some songs like "The Next Teardrop Falls" from Freddie Fender. It kind of goes into Spanish. So
I cannot wait. When is this happening?
Well, it's gonna be happening this year. Hopefully here within a few months. Like I said, I want to do the country album. Then I want to do. I don't know yet if we're gonna add those covers to the same country album, and because nowadays you can put 20, 30 songs on a put it up on a platform.
Crank it out, yeah.
And
that's crazy.
so, but I may do the country album first, and maybe do the cover country album after. And so, there's a lot of projects in the works right now.
Okay.
Maybe I'll do some mariachi down the road as well. So, yeah, we do it all here.
I love it. I saw your show recently over at Cattleman Square,
right.
The Hano Explosion. You guys always put on a great show. If you haven't ever been to a Michael Salgado show, you guys have to go. It's always a good time. And you hear the classics, and you play the new stuff, you play some country, you guys play a little bit of everything. But no, you are a legend. You're at the Hano legend, obviously, to us. But you have the songs that are like at every quince, every wedding, every family barbecue. Like your songs play. How does that feel? Like you are part of people's childhoods, like their upbringing.
It's crazy because people tell me that, hey, they had Cruz, or somebody will send me a video, hey, they're playing Cinea, or they're playing Palomita Blanca, or so it's really, you're kind of amazed of kind of what you've done. It's like when we first heard our song played on the radio, we were actually, chopping what we call chopping cotton, right? Where you're cutting the weeds and the cotton rows, and I remember my dad pulled up in the John Deere and he said, "Hey, they're playing your song on the radio, right?"
What station was it?
It was a station in I think it was Midland, Texas.
Okay.
And so that was crazy, right? The first time.
Were you like, what?
Yeah. We ever heard our song, and we were out there working in the field, and so, I mean, trust me, it's been a long road, and we've made a lot of sacrifice. I remember a time when, I had my old van, and we had probably 3 blowouts at the same day.
Not the blowout
Right?
van.
We were going to Lubbock, Texas, and I think we had a blowout like not too far out of. At that time, we lived in Stanton, Texas, right out there in West Texas, and then we had another blowout getting to Lubbock, and then another blowout. So it was just, I was like, guys, we're not getting paid this weekend. We're gonna buy some tires. So, but it's just.
You remember those days.
Oh yeah, and
People don't remember that. They don't see that part. They only see this end result,
Right.
right? They don't know the grind of like, hey, I only had frijoles and arroz
yeah,
for like a week.
I remember the days we used to, in the van, we used to have to like sleep in the van because, we used to make, a couple $100 a night. And, if you're splitting that
Between band
amongst 4
members.
people, it's not really that much. So there was some days, I remember Lubbock, some cold winters where, we'd go and back then, they still have them, the town and countries out there. And we'd, go buy burritos or whatever. And then we'd talk to the guy that worked at the store just to kill time, right? Because we didn't have nowhere to go. So once we were, kind of done, we'd go and park behind the venue. And in the wintertime, we'd park behind the venue and we'd leave the van on. And when it was warm enough, we'd turn it off. And then we'd tell each other, hey, when it gets too cold, turn the van back on.
You didn't let them spoon? Hey, we're going to
Yeah, yeah.
spoon.
Yeah.
Don't touch me, but we're going to.
Wasn't that kind of party. But no,
Ew.
yeah. Yeah, so we would, we had to kind of rotate, turn the van on.
Oh my gosh.
So it was,
That's when you wrote. And you had to turn the car on and off for the heat. That's crazy.
Yeah. So it was, it's been a lot of tough. It was a lot of tough years. The 8 years prior to actually Cruz de Madera was, a lot.
8 years.
Yeah.
That's not easy. 8 years of the grind. of
Yeah,
this.
just playing bars. I remember a time we went from Dallas we're coming back home, and we'd already had some problems with the van.
Oh gosh.
And then we're getting to Stanton, and then the motor blows out. So we didn't even we just got into the entrance of the town. So we had to walk the rest of the way into town.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, I mean, there was a lot of tough times, and that's why I'm saying, nowadays they'll ask me like, well, what advice do you have for young bands?
Yeah, like somebody's trying to make it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you got to work hard. You got to, if you really want to do music, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be overnight. And actually nowadays, the artists, that are starting have a big advantage. You got social media now. You got YouTube. A lot of things we didn't have back then.
That's right.
It was just radio back then, and so now you've got to. But there still needs to be that grind. There has to be the discipline. There's a lot involved in order to make it in the business.
It's not easy. So I have a silly question. I have a bunch of silly questions. Has your voice always been raspy like that?
No, I think it changed when I was like 19, 20 is when I started to. Yeah.
I try to do it. I try to do voices. I'm sorry. I probably
No, it
just
sounds
ruined
good.
your whole.
It sounds
Okay.
just close like me.
So sorry. Finish.
No.
It hasn't been like that.
No, I think I was probably 18, 19 around there when it started to change that I noticed, because that's when I was starting to record the first albums.
Mm-hmm.
So my voice kind of, was changing some. And I was starting to notice, I think it's a little bit raspier now, I guess, throughout the years,
Of singing, yeah.
And because I think from the start of Cruz de Madera, first 10 years, it was just, we were like working, 3 or 4 nights out of the week with that hit. And so, it put a toll on my throat a little bit, but
But that's
it
what
still
makes
works.
your voice so special, and it's so unique. It's very distinct. Like nobody has that raspy voice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I never
very different.
I never really noticed that people would say that, and they would say like you play left-handed, and I didn't. I remember playing with my dad. We were playing the bars.
Mm-hmm.
They would come up and say, "Hey, andas borracho que tiene trae el acordeón al revés," right? But it's just that.
You just play with your
yeah,
left.
because I play left-handed because I guess it wasn't common.
They would
back-
think you were drunk because you were playing with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
left. That's hilarious.
Yeah. And they
Yeah,
were
you're
like,
one of the few lefties that can play this bad boy right here.
yeah, and so that's I don't know. I didn't really I didn't really think, well, it's a right-handed accordion or left, or I just kind
You
of
started
grabbed
playing.
it, right? I mean, manera, and I just started, practicing songs. And it's kind of when we went out and played is when people started to notice that. And so I was like, and then my dad, well, he played, because a lot of accordion players play button accordion. And I've kind of,
Oh, snap. I didn't notice this. What, it has buttons?
well, yeah, this is kind of more the basses, and I don't really use the bass,
Oh, okay.
but this part is more button, right? Accordion, like Ramon, all these guys play button accordion. And so I've kind of messed around with them here and there, when there's one, but I've never really, I'm going to buy one and try to, I wouldn't mind doing that, but I've just played this one so long that I'm like, well, what's the point, right? But yeah, my dad had a piano accordion, and actually they were a little bigger than this one, right? So
These are big.
Yeah, imagine me, I'm 15, 16, and I'm carrying an accordion this
Oh
big.
my gosh.
And I remember there was an accordion that was really, it was really like sharp edge, right? Like this is, kind of curved around. So we bought one because my dad would buy them, pawn shops, wherever, because that's what we could afford. And so I remember, I think it's on this side, I've got like a bruise still here where it was already like kind of cutting me. So my dad's like, he actually put like a sponge and tape on me.
Wow. Wow.
Just to kind of play for now, right? And then he said, "No, we got to get another accordion because that one's
was
gonna
cutting
That one's
you.
gonna
That's
cut
crazy.
your arm off."
That's so
But
funny. But yeah, no, this one right here, this is a very beautiful accordion, by the way. And you busted it out. I was like, can I touch it? Can I touch it? And he said
Thank you.
yes. I was all, But
Oh,
this
yeah.
has like, you guys can't see this. I don't know if you can see this, but this has little diamonds on it. I don't know if they're real diamonds, but.
No, they're just
But
the
they're
stones
like
that
the stones. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, and I remember because when I first started, my dad bought me when he bought me a new accordion. It was a little smaller than this, and it was a Hunter, right? And it was actually an accordion for one to learn first, and then you buy
The real
accordion.
deal.
But we would use it to play everywhere, right? And if you see the first, may rest in peace, Johnny Canales, right? If you see the first, because I debuted back in, I think it was 89, 90. Well, I'm using that accordion, right? And it's got like, it had, because it got bent, on the grill here. It had this type, the grill was a little different. So it kind of got cracked or something. So we put like tape on it, painted it. And so I used that accordion at Johnny Canales, right? And so that was the first one I started with, but it was a kind of a learner type of accordion first, and then go buy you a real accordion.
But
I
that was your
I used it
ride or
everywhere,
die.
and so it was crazy.
It worked?
Yeah, and I would, once I started switching off to the accordions, I would use that poor accordion for parts, right? Like reeds. I would take out the reeds and put them into my other accordions. But that was, so when I think the first time was probably in the 90s when I first was able to get a hold of a Gabinelli. So I was like, really excited.
You were like,
that I
oh,
was-
is
yeah,
that when
yeah,
you felt
'cause-
like you made it? What's it called? A Gabinelli?
Gabinelli.
Gabinelli. That's Italian?
Yeah, and that's out of, they're out of Houston, and special hello to Mike Gabinelli, who was also, he's always taken care of me with accordions throughout the years. It's been probably 15, 20 years now. And so I actually have, people would ask me, do you got like 10 accordions? And
Yeah, like do you have like a
and I'm
whole
like,
store of them?
no, I only play one. I can only play one at a time, so I just need. I need
But what
one.
happens if something happens?
Well, yeah. So,
Knock on wood.
yeah. It's, if something were to. So right now, I think I've collected about 5 of them. And because there's some that I want to leave for my kids, when I'm no longer here, and so I've kind of collected some accordions and. Some of my kids are like, hey, well, that one's mine. or
That
this
one's
one.
mine. They're
Right,
going to
right.
claim the accordions
Yeah,
already.
yeah. And so, but it was great when I first was able to get my hand on one.
That's awesome. Okay, well, I have one more silly question for you. Do you eat barbacoa and Big Red on Sundays?
I probably eat
Chicharrón?
chorizo and eggs taco.
Did you guys know that about Michael Salgado? You found out today on the Bean and Chisme show that he's a chorizo and egg kind of guy. I didn't take you for that.
No?
No.
Yeah.
I was like, he's a barbacoa, chicharrón, kind of guy.
I do. I mean, I do.
Tripa taco, maybe? No?
It's been a while. And so I do barbacoa tacos every now and then. And I kind of do chorizo and egg.
Okay.
Chorizo and beans. That's good.
Ooh, y'all don't know about that. On flour or corn? I'm judging you right now.
I'm both. Both.
That's awesome. Okay, and then Spurs or not? Spurs or Cowboys?
Cowboys.
It's the shirt. I knew it.
Well, I mean, nothing against the Spurs. I just was never a basketball
It was football.
fan, right? Yeah, I always grew up
Always
with
football.
football. And so, even when we were young, we would play on the streets, So we were always, me and my brother were Cowboy fans, I guess, since we were like 9, 10 years old, since the Roger Staubach days, right? So it's like, so we've always been, I'm hoping
Cowboys
they're
fan.
going to have a better year this year.
This year they're going to Super Bowl, you guys.
That's
You heard
right.
it yourself from Michael Salgado. He claims it. Well, again, thank you so much for being here, you guys. Michael Salgado is on tour now. You have to see him. If you're in Texas, don't forget Billy Bob's in Fort Worth, Texas with Louis the Singer coming
Going
up.
to be out there in Las Vegas. Remember, get your tickets, michaelsalgado.com. And we've got some other shows that are coming up. Check out my website, michaelsalgado.com. Check out all my stuff on YouTube. We're going to be recording a lot more videos after we get this records going. I'm going to actually be doing a lot more country videos as well. So you guys stay connected. My channel is official Michael Salgado on YouTube, and my website, michaelsalgado.com.
I love it. And we agreed that we're going to make AC Cruz a song.
That's right.
So can we end the show? We're gonna see you guys next time. And don't forget to play the contest for Credit Human because you got the Spurs ice chest and of course this lovely Mangara water holder with the packaging from EcoPax. So don't forget to play, you guys. But we're gonna end the show with a little jingle, an original from El Zurdo Records and Bean and Chisme Productions.
Let's see if I can follow you.
All right. I don't even know though. Andale. Do it again. There's a man called AC Cruz. He likes to fix air, AC, and heating in everybody's hood. They call him the Mary Teresa of AC and heat. And he's got prices that you just cannot beat. But don't have your house smelling like stinky feet. Call AC Cruz Air and Heating today. 777 777 Hey. Woo! Thank you so much. Anything else you want to say before we wrap the show?
No, thank you to everybody. Saludos a todos. Everybody who's watching. Thank you guys. And we'll see you at a show near you. Huh?
Call 333-3300. No, we're not doing that right now. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time here on the Bean and Chisme Show. Take care. Bye. Hey. Yay. Thank you so much.